Hey everyone, welcome back. The last few days have been interesting. We've had some long streams and I hope you've been enjoying them, but while I wasn't on stream, I was going through my list of ideas for videos, and for the first time in a long time, well, 90% of them weren't good enough or just didn't work as I had hoped. While this video may seem only this long, just know I'm trying my best to upload consistently again. Speaking of which, the delayed Warframe dev stream is coming today, at March 11th at 2 PM ET. I'll be on Twitch streaming it, so come and chill, and maybe we'll have something to look for Angels of Zeramon. But enough about that. I'll be uploading today and tomorrow two completely different setups back to back because I feel bad that the ideas I want to show you didn't work out. Also, one of them is more just a fun side grade than actually attempting my usual 200 IQ Gigabrain strats, but the other one, well, I hope you enjoy it tomorrow. Let's start with the memes. This is Fartlas. Yes, I know it sounds dumb, but that's entirely the point because I couldn't get things to work out how I wanted. A little bit of background on this one. It was my third last idea to work on, and I normally organize my ideas from least likely to most likely to work so that I don't miss showing something super interesting and pick an easier option instead. We all know Atlas as the One Punch Man, but I wanted to try something different. With the Thermal Sunder Augment, I was thinking, well, now we can do heat inherit on any frame, but how about a Falcon Punch Atlas? But then I also remembered that Roar exists, and that Bane mods don't work for pseudo-exalteds. More on that later. But that is generally true. Since I was lacking a Bane, but I can just mod heat for the Statstick, I decided to drop the Thermal Sunder idea and take Roar. The problem? Atlas' pseudo-exalted has 5% base crit and status. While there are still ways to get Landslide to 100% crit, it uses so much slots you can't get a legitimate amount of status support on Atlas to make it work, and spending a bunch of slots to boost status ruins your base damage and crit scaling, which is what Heat Inherit needs on the main DPS weapon. The only way to get a lot of status is Proton Snap, which gives 50% flats, but it also adds 100% Toxin that I don't want for Heat Inherit. It would completely screw up my elemental weighting. So what was my solution? Screw it, let's use Proton Snap for that status, and since it gives Force Toxin, I'll go to what I'm known for best. Gas. Except, like I said, this is a side grade build, not an optimal build, like how Gas Spirix or Seer was best for them, or the Gas Salta with Void Bubbles. This will not perform noticeably better than a Corrosive Atlas, but at the same time, it doesn't perform noticeably worse either. Let's take a look at him. It's not too unusual from your typical landslide spam Atlas. The first thing you may notice is me using Nero's Anguish. Those of you asking on my Baruch video, yes, I just tested again this morning, the Nero's set bonus still applies to all melee attacks. This includes normal melee, pseudo-exalteds, and actual exalteds like Desert Storm, so you can still use this. If you don't want to fully rely on being grounded for Atlas's passive, which gives him innate prime sure-footed, you can slot it in the Exalus here. Just keep in mind you'll be losing 100% base damage for Landslide if you do that, which is nearly 1/4 of your damage. Path of Statues is very handy augment for petrifying enemies everywhere for anything that survives hits or walks in the wake of your destruction, but it isn't absolutely mandatory. I would strongly recommend it though. This lets you petrify enemies without having to actually cast your 3, so it becomes all in one of your, well, one. Landslide does more damage to petrified enemies, while the Petrified Trail also works as a light CC. This makes it easier to kill enemies, which fits nicely with his other augment, a Rubble Heap. Killing enemies faster means you build rubble armor faster. Reaching 1400 rubble makes Landslide do another 2 times more damage as a separate multiplier, travels twice as fast, and will also cost 0 energy. Remember, Landslide also hits twice as hard on the second hit, and then 4 times as hard on the third hit if you chain it together before the ability's unique combo meter expires. So with both augments in play, this is what makes the build sustainable at 45 efficiency. Otherwise, you would have a horrible time dealing with the energy economy with how much you spam his 1. We are piling on strength to push Roar's multiplier up. 254 gets us to 76.2, and because we're doing gas, this will double dip to make Landslide do 3.1 times more damage on the gas dots. All these add up to make Fartlas do ridiculous amounts of damage, even though gas doesn't scale up elementals, because we have so many external multipliers, and even 254 strength backing up the initial damage value of Landslide itself, which is separate from the base damage multipliers like near set bonus, prime pressure point, etc. Arcane Avenger is here because the self-damage from Combat Discipline can trigger it for a flat 45% crit chance bonus. This should be relatively easy to trigger for how hard Landslide hits. It will be a massive damage boost because Landslide usually struggles to crit. And Energize to make up for the 45 efficiency. Even though Landslide will become cheap or free, Roar still chonks your energy, and casting Petrify once will fully reset your shield gate, but these can both eat into your economy. Rolling Guard pairs really nicely here with Petrify, and I would recommend formatting this properly so that you can run a max rank Rolling Guard in a rank 0 combat discipline to reduce your incoming damage and cut down the Rolling Guard cooldown to 7 seconds instead of 8. My primary? Cedo, just a primer. This is the build, nothing special. It's meant to prime Viral for more landslide damage, and Radiation for enemy-friendly fires light CC. Then we also got Blast to reduce enemy accuracy, but remember, Cedo's alt fire, which by the way you can bring back early by using the alt fire again, it force procs all 4 primary elements, so you have near endless CC, which we extend with Lingering Torment and Hunter Track. Soft hands for even faster swap speed if you need to swap guns. Dexterity also helps with the swap speed also, but most importantly adds 7.5 seconds combo duration for our melee Statstick today. And our pistol? Epitaph. This may make you want to use Prime Sure-Footed since it has a much larger AoE than Cedo and will definitely tag you if you're in the air. Built very similarly to the Cedo for status duration with Augur Seeker, but also primed Fulmination to get 13.28 meter blast radius. Viral Radiation for friendly fire, and bonus damage, the Innate Blast for accuracy debuff, and force cold procs to slow enemies down even further. Both of these weapons are extremely good for priming enemies for Atlas and improving your survivability. Pistol ammo mutation because spamming Epitaph consumes quite a bit of ammo, and Dexterity again for swap speed, but also another 7.5 seconds combo duration to our melee Statstick. So where does that leave us? I chose an Amphis as my Statstick, but unless you are using a Riven, it does not matter what weapon you pick. Perhaps something with higher capacity or more innate polarities will reduce your Forma requirement, but 99% of all melee weapons are the exact same as Statsticks. The few that are different are due to unique properties or augments, but these properties and augments are small enough to barely make a difference. If you actually want to min-max, don't min-max by weapon properties. Min-max by getting a Riven. Rivens are orders of magnitude more significant than those few little small differences a weapon might have. And what affects Rivens? Disposition. And that's why I picked the Amphis here as an example, because it has a 1.5 disposition, which should be pretty obvious that with this Riven stat line here, how high each value is. This would be perfect for a normal corrosive build landslide. If you do grab a Riven for Atlas, the only things that he cares about are melee damage and elementals, since crit stats on Rivens are near useless for him. But I can't use this Riven for a Fartlas gas build. Hence, why I set the weapon I use today for a Rivenless setup is irrelevant. Just don't pick Zorus or Tenet Livia or Tenet Grigori. Those 3 reset combo counter when you cast Landslide. The build is super generic hybrid crit and gas. We have Prime Pressure Point, Spoiled Strike, and remember, Near's Anguish for 465% base damage scaling. Blood Rushing Gladiator set bonus pushes the puny 5% landslide crit to 32.5, and then Avenger boosts this up to 77.5. Not reaching 100 is okay since Gas has persistent AoE from other enemies you hit in the bunch. If you crit 1, then he makes a crit scaled Gas Cloud. Obviously, Gladiator Might and Organ Shatter scales the crit damage, and Weeping Wound scales the 5% status to 27. Proton Snap gives flat status, so we now have 77% total. And while you do have to wall latch for 2 seconds to upkeep it, we also get toxin damage from this in 1 to combine with our innate heat and make gas. Pets can be either a Panzer if you want infinite lives and viral spread through viral quills, or a Jinn or a Worm if you want to bring the Prisma burst lasers and Augur Statstick. The Epitaph I'm using only had 1 Augur mod, so I'm choosing to bring a Sentinel today to get both pistol Augur mods on for a 3 set bonus. Without this, Petrify won't regenerate our shields fully with a single cast. Jinn is an option for Endurance because Awaken gives it infinite lives, whereas Worm offers Negates to block status effects. Sentinels also offer Guardian, which is an instant shield recharge with a 30-second cooldown if they break. For non-endurance runs though, Worm is more than enough for the ultimate safety, and you can even put Prime Regen on for 3 extra lives for it. Operator Arcanes should be Magus Anomaly because it lets us drag enemies in for easier petrifies and one-shots and gas clouds. And personally, I use Magus Elevate to help patch up chip damage from Combat Discipline. That's it. Meme Lord Fartlas. One Punch Man? More like One Fart Man. He's so stinky that once enemies get a single whiff, they die a horrible death. and it even lingers. Get a load of these hands. If this is your first time watching, feel free to leave a like, or better yet, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. 79.5% of you are not subscribed. I try my best to get you new information out always, as soon as possible. Like, I'm done with covering the new Augment and these setups. Stick around if you want to see interesting memes and builds on a nearly daily basis. Don't want to miss out on any of that, do you? That'll be it for this video. Thank you all for watching, and see you all next time.